What's up with y'all out there? This is Best Way to Smoke Weekly News, and I'm Big J. Make sure you stay elevated at all times. I know I will. And we want to talk about this federal hand in pocket kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? We call it a cash grab. Why is Uncle Sam taxing what he calls illegal? Why does the federal government, if they're still classifying cannabis as a Schedule One drug, why do they have their hands in the pocket and they're profiting big time when it's illegal in their eyes? If you tried to sell something that the government says is a controlled substance, you'd expect a knock on the door from the DEA, not a friendly invoice from the IRS, but for the multi-billion-dollar cannabis industry, the reality is a strange pay-to-play paradox. The federal government takes a massive cut of the profit while still refusing to call the business legal. And that's the thing that's been like kind of like a shocker in a way. It's like, okay, you guys have been profiting billions of dollars, taking taxes from cannabis businesses which most of these all of these cannabis businesses pay an excise tax and still don't get the proper deductions, to be able to offset them costs. So why does the Fed's hand reach into a cookie jar that technically shouldn't exist? Here's the breakdown of how the government keeps the cash flowing without changing the law. Number one, the Al Capone rule. All income is taxable. The biggest reason is actually a century-old legal standard. The IRS doesn't care if you made your money selling organic kale or illegal substances. If you made a profit, they want their share. That's crazy though, because when you get to like the local street dealers and stuff like that though, they not coming to try to get their share. They're just coming to try to take your ass to jail. So you ever wonder how they finally caught Al Capone? It wasn't for the bootlegging, it was for tax evasion. The Supreme Court has long ruled that illegal gains are still taxable income. That's like you know what I'm saying? By taxing cannabis, the government isn't approving it. They're just ensuring that nobody gets a tax-free ride, even if their business is a federal felony, I guess. Number two, Section 280E, the ultimate penalty. While regular businesses get to deduct normal expenses like rent, electricity, and employee payroll, cannabis shops are hit with a massive roadblock called Internal Revenue Code Section 280E. Because cannabis is a Schedule One substance, the same category as heroin, the law forbids these businesses from taking standard tax deductions. That's crazy, because it's like, I still ask the question. I understand the information that's put out there though, but it's still like why they got their hands in the pocket if it's illegal on their level? The results: the cannabis companies often pay tax rates of 60% to 70% more. That's a lot. The irony: the federal government actually makes more money by keeping cannabis illegal than they would if they fully legalized it and allowed standard business deductions. Bingo. This is what I've been saying for the longest and stuff. It's been in a gray area as far as legalization for a long time. So in their eyes, it's like, why should they even move forward with trying to legalize it? Because they're profiting off of it right now. So we got number three, the scheduling shuffle, the 2026 update. As of early 2026, the government is moving toward rescheduling cannabis to Schedule 3. This would recognize it as a medical value, but crucially, it is not the same as federal legalization. Moving to Schedule 3 would finally kill the 280E tax penalty, giving businesses a break. However, the feds still aren't ready to pull the trigger on full descheduling because they want to get that max profit, in my opinion. making it legal like alcohol because they aren't ready to lose control over how it's regulated across state lines. But it's still like in certain states, it's still kind of regulated on its own little, I ain't gonna say regulated, but certain states kind of move how they move as far as doing things. I don't necessarily see the feds, stepping in to legal dispensaries, but they're still getting a pay cut. The bottom line, the federal government is currently in a long distance relationship with cannabis. They love the money, but they aren't ready to commit to the legality by keeping it in the legal gray area. They maintain the power to tax it at a higher rates than almost any other industry in America while keeping their regulatory options open. Man, something needs to happen in the realm of what's going on. We're not able to get baking and so many different things that's not allowed in the cannabis industry, and that's stripped away, that's making it hard for businesses to survive. Right now, it's a business closing their doors right now because they can't afford to stay open due to excise taxes and not being able to get the proper deductions for their business. Right now, is someone closing their doors. Tomorrow, someone will be closing their doors, though, man. So, look, I want you guys to stay tuned, to stay tapped in with us at Best Way to Smoke News. We'll be delivering news on a weekly basis. I'm Big J. Make sure you stay elevated. Oh, hold on. And make sure you follow us everywhere at Best Way to Smoke with the number 2. I'm Big J. Make sure you stay elevated. Until next time.